Joined here by Minnesota State head baseball coach Matt Magers. Coach, you must be ready to get the season started.
We are ready, despite the weather. We've been practicing since January 12th, so guys are physically ready. They put the time in the off-season conditioning in the weight room, and now it's just a matter of going out there and playing some outside competition, and I think we're ready. That begins this weekend down in Kansas, and then we'll spend 10 days down in Florida, 10 games down in Florida. So in the next 2 weeks here, we'll have a pretty good idea of where our team's going to be at.
Yeah, and kind of from last season, you guys lose a couple guys, Todd Standish, a couple other guys that kind of stand out that you guys will probably miss this season. What do you guys need to do to kind of replace those guys, and who's going to step up this year to take those spots over for you?
Tough to replace those guys. Those are some big holes, and you talk about the legacy of Minnesota State baseball, and those guys have left their marks, not only record-wise at the World Series, but in the record books as well. So you try not to replace those guys. I think you always look at what can the new players do to help the team out, and we think we have the pieces to put the puzzle together. At shortstop we have Kyle Toth, who's a transfer in here. We have Dylan Dressel. There's a handful of redshirt guys that redshirted last year that should be able to step in and contribute. On the mound, we lost quite a bit, losing our top 5, 6, 7 guys. But we also have guys that have been in the program 2 or 3 years that are going to get their chance, and they deserve it. We also have some good freshmen that should be able to step in and contribute. So we think it's a good mix of upperclassmen and new guys coming in. And again, that's where the Kansas and Florida trip really give us an idea of where the team's going to be at before we head into our conference season.
Right, and you talk about some of those guys that you do have returning. A couple of rocks for you guys with Nolan Johnson behind the plate. He's been here, started for 3 years. You got Connor McCallum over in third base. Those guys must be really helpful to these newcomers this year.
Yeah, position-wise, you look at Nolan and Connor. They both have been in the program for at least 4 years. Nolan redshirted his first year, so those guys know what it takes to be successful, not only on the field but off the field as well. And they've both been good leaders for us. And then I look at Taylor Brandsted's been in the program for 3 or 4 years now. Max Walatich was a big part of our success last year. You have a guy like Kevin Kramer who's second year in the program as well. So you have quite a few of those guys that have been around 2 or 3 years and played big pieces of the puzzle last year. But I look at a guy like Eric Peterson that was the top freshman in the conference last year too, is kind of going to be a key for us at second base. So position-wise, there's a good mix of new and young guys there as well. But I really think the key to our success is just the depth that we have. If somebody does go down, that next guy is going to be able to step in and do the job. But also in practice, we've had some good competitions in practice with guys pushing each other.
Yeah, that's good. How about on the mound for you guys? Like you said, you did lose guys like Jason Hoppy, who's been on the mound for you guys for it seems like forever and had a great career here. You had Bellin, a lot of guys out there. How are you guys going to replace a couple of those guys or have guys that step in for you?
Yeah, right now we have 16 pitchers on the staff. A couple of them will redshirt, a couple of them are injured right now. But I look at a guy like Mitch Bauer, Lucas Henning, Trevor Patterson. Those guys have been here for 3 years and were part of the pitching staff last year. Joey Reed is another guy. It's his second year that was on the pitching staff last year. Tyler Froworth. So we have 5 or 6 core guys that have been around the program for 2 or 3 years that will get their shot to do it. And then you add to that a Nick Veal, who's a transfer player for us. And then freshman-wise, we'll probably have 3 or 4 freshmen play for us with Dalton Roach and Brody Rodning and Christian Howell. Those guys have done a very good job and shown that they can compete at a pretty high level. You just don't know until you get in the game how they're going to respond to that. So far in practice, they've been able to throw strikes and pitch backwards. So that kind of gives us an idea that they're going to be able to contribute at some point. What type of role is going to be decided in the games coming up. But that's where, again, you look at the guys that have been around for a couple of years, and they're going to get the first opportunity to kind of go out there and earn that spot.
Yeah, and you guys, like you said, you start the season. It's supposed to be this weekend, depending on weather, against Newman University. Looks like it's a team that likes to put up a lot of runs on the board. Maybe their pitching hasn't come around yet. What do you guys need to do to be prepared to start these games?
Yeah, I think we just need to go out and control what we can, and we can't control the weather. We know that, and Newman University does look like they're a very good team. We just need to come out and pitching-wise, be able to throw strikes. The stuff that we've been working on in the field house, just being able to throw and catch the baseball consistently is something that we've been able to do a very good job at the last couple of years, and that's something early in the season that we need to do well. Hitting wise, it's just a matter of getting our timing down, being able to get outside in the new elements, and so pitching and playing fundamental defense, but also being able to do little things like running the bases, our first and third situations, our bunt plays, being able to execute those things in a game situation now is something that we hope to be able to do.
And just looking forward throughout the whole season. You guys have been to the College World Series. What is it, 4 out of the last 5 years? What kind of expectations do you have for this team? Is that something you guys look to do every year, obviously?
Yeah, I think it's part of our legacy that we have here. That's why guys choose to be Mavericks, is because they know they're going to have an opportunity to compete at a pretty high level. It just doesn't happen. I think it starts in the fall. Our first day of fall, we've asked this team to be able to control the 3 certain areas with their attitude, their concentration, and their effort. And up to this point, they've done a great job doing that. So now it's just a matter of going out and taking care of the baseball stuff and getting in a routine, getting in a habit of being able to balance the academic aspect of it along with the baseball routine. And that's going to change. We know that maybe even this weekend, what's on paper as far as schedule-wise, it's going to change a little bit. And a lot of the off-the-field issues are very similar to the game, where you're going to be dealt some changes on the baseball field. It's how you handle them, how you overcome adversity. And I think this group is a pretty strong group mentally wise, and they're going to be able to handle those situations. So, like I mentioned earlier, by the time we come back from our Florida trip, hopefully we'll have a little bit better idea of where our pitching staff is at, and along with that, a couple of the positions, with our position players. But we're looking forward to a great season. I mean, the guys have put their time in, and now it's just a matter of being able to go out in the field and execute.
Yeah, well, we look forward to a great season, and good luck.
All right, thanks.